In grammar, conditionals are situations with the word if. We can group conditionals into 4 categories. Real conditional. If you study more, you'll get higher grades. Unreal conditional present. If you studied more, you would get higher grades. Unreal conditional past. If you had studied more, you would have gotten higher grades. Unreal conditional past and present. If you had studied more, you would have higher grades. In this lesson, we'll talk about the differences between these similar sounding sentences. Briefly, real conditional describes real possibilities, but unreal conditional is used for advice, explanations, warnings, regrets, and consequences. Real conditional. Real conditional is most commonly used to describe causes and effects. It describes a situation that happens or can happen if another situation happens first. If you study more, you'll get higher grades. If you finish your homework, you can play video games. Unreal conditional present. Unreal conditional sounds like the opposite of what it means. It's an alternative way to express advice, warnings, complaints, and wishes. Note, all of the following examples are in present tense, even if they have an ed ending or use were or had. Advice. If you studied more, you would get higher grades. If you studied more means you don't study enough. You would get higher grades means your grades aren't high enough. If you didn't eat so much junk food, you would feel better. If you didn't eat so much junk food means you eat too much junk food. You would feel better means you don't feel good. Warnings. If I were you, I wouldn't say that to the boss. If I were you means I'm not you, but in your shoes. I wouldn't say that to the boss means don't say that to the boss. If I were you, I wouldn't wear that to the party. I wouldn't wear that to the party simply means don't wear that to the party. Complaints. If we weren't stuck in this traffic jam, we could make it to the meeting on time. If we weren't stuck in this traffic jam means we are stuck in this traffic jam. We could make it to the meeting on time means we can't make it to the meeting on time. If the quality were better, I would buy it. If the quality were better means the quality isn't good enough. I would buy it means I'm not going to buy it. Wishes. If I had $1 billion, I would buy an island. If I had $1 billion means I don't have $1 billion. I would buy is a fantasy. If I were the president, I would launch a mission to Mars. If I were the president means I'm not the president. This is a fantasy. To see the difference between real and unreal conditional, let's compare these sentence pairs. Real conditional. If I'm promoted, I will make many changes in company policy. This means that I have applied and might be promoted. The unreal conditional version of this would be, if I were promoted, I would make many changes in company policy. This means I have not applied and my statement represents advice or wishful thinking. If you show up to class more often, you will get better marks. This is a cause-effect prediction. If you showed up to class more often, you would get better marks. This means you don't show up to class often enough. As a result, you get poor marks. The message communicated in this last example is the same. Unreal conditional gives you another way to communicate that message. The construction of present unreal conditional looks like past tense, but it's not. Putting if at the beginning changes things to unreal conditional. This is a neutral statement. The weather is not nice, so we are not going for a walk. The unreal conditional version of this, which sounds like a wish or complaint, is, if the weather were nice, we would go for a walk. If the weather were nice means the weather is not nice. We would go for a walk means we're not going for a walk. Both statements provide the exact same information. Both are in present tense. Unreal conditional past. Past unreal conditional describes imaginary situations in the past. This is often the language of regret and guilt. Regret. If you had studied more, you would have gotten higher grades. If you had studied more means you didn't study enough. You would have gotten higher grades means your grades weren't high enough. Guilt. If I had fought at the battle, we could have won. If I had fought at the battle means I didn't fight at the battle. We could have won means we didn't win. Past unreal conditional looks like past perfect. It uses the same form of the verb and the same helper verb had for all subjects. Could or would plus have plus the third form of the verb. Again, there's only one form of the verb for all subjects, is used in the second half. If I had been there, I would have helped them. If you had warmer clothes, you wouldn't have gotten frostbite. If they hadn't eaten that old sushi, they wouldn't have gotten food poisoning. Unreal conditional, past and present. Unreal conditional blends, past and present unreal conditional together, describe the present consequences of past actions. Consequences. If you had studied more, you would have higher grades. If you had studied more means you didn't study enough in the past. You would have higher grades means your grades aren't high enough now. If I hadn't lost the password, I'd be able to open the safe. If I hadn't lost the password, means I lost the password in the past. I would be able to open the safe means I can't open the safe now. If I had been there at the meeting, we wouldn't have this problem. If I had been there at the meeting means I wasn't at the meeting in the past. We wouldn't have this problem means we now have a problem.